And no other president's taken a cognitive. Could you imagine Sleepy Joe taking a cognitive test? I don't think he'd get the first, the first question is like, what is this? And they show a lion, a giraffe, a fish, and a hippopotamus, right? And they say, which is the giraffe? So that's the only question. But what happens is it then gets harder. I don't think Joe would have gotten the first question right. He would say hippo. I want the hippo. But anyway, I've taken now 3 cognitive tests. I've aced every single one of them. And these are, this is that big stuff. This is Walter Reed. I've got a whole team of doctors all over the place. If you get them wrong, I said, what do you think? Should I do it? They said, well, here's the good news. The good news, if you do well, that's great. Actually, if you do well, they won't report it. If you do badly, it's going to be the biggest story in history. They said, it's possible that if you do badly, the word will leak out and you'll look very bad. I said, this was on my first test. After that, I knew that I can do very well. Smart person. So what happens? What happens is first test, I said, how hard is it? He said, well, after the 10th or 12th question, it gets, very hard. And I said, well, what do you think? They said, look, if you're going to do well, but if you're not going to do well, it's probable that the word will get out. I said, well, let's do it anyway. And I did it, and it was actually good. For a year, they called me a very intelligent person, but then they forget. Then I did it again. I aced it again. They report it. And these are doctors that I don't even know, and they report it. And then I did it a third time a few months ago, and they reported. But it's very small reporting. But can you imagine if I did badly, right? Could you imagine that, front row Joe? Would I be in trouble? They'd say, there's something wrong. But I like to do it. But I had perfect health. And they reported his health is perfect. And they interpret that. And the fake news interprets when the doctor says he's got perfect health, they go, what does he mean by perfect? There's something wrong with the president. These people are sick. Now, there will be a time when perhaps I won't be 100% true with all of us, right? And when that time comes, I will let you know about it. In fact, you'll probably find out about it just by watching. But that time is not now, because I feel the same that I felt for 50 years. I really do. But we have I think we have an obligation to, at least report your health. But I will tell you, to me, because of what happened for 4 years, I really think having a cognitive test for presidents to take a cognitive test is very important. I think it's very important. I'm hearing that they say it's, not with Biden, they said it was not constitutional. That was the least of his problems. But I think it's very important that a president or people running for president and vice president take a cognitive test. I mean, I think it's a very important thing. I don't know. They say you shouldn't do that, it's unjust, it's not constitutional. They say all these things, but I really believe that. Under Trump, wages are rising much faster than inflation for the first time in many years. Think of that. Wages are rising faster than inflation. That's what it's all about, right? And we're delivering lower prices and bigger paychecks. And the wage chart that you see up there is incredible. That NBC didn't put up and the networks didn't put up. There are more people working today than at any time in American history. And very importantly, while tens of thousands of new jobs under Biden were government jobs, there were government jobs. I could do that right now. You saw today we had 4.5% inflation. That's because I'm letting go of tremendous numbers of government workers. We're replacing them. In fact, we've reduced the federal workforce by 270,000 jobs. That's not to be mean. That's to get them off. And they are getting jobs in the private sector, and we're helping them to get jobs. But if you have all government jobs, we're going to be, a country that we don't want to mention names because we don't want to insult, but we're going to be a country that cannot be great